I haven't been reading a lot lately, and this book is not to blame, but maybe it's a reason why it took me 3 months from August to October to finish it, and I know it's December, but I took my time reviewing it. I'm also not making many videos lately, and yeah, or I'm making videos and don't get to edit them. I've made some stories about reading this book, like I'm finishing it or something, some sorts, and yeah, now it's time to review it. The Talisman by Peter Straub and Stephen King. I was planning to read this book during the summer, even before Peter Straub passed away, and then I thought it was a great opportunity to read something of his, that I've got a lot of books from both those authors in my bookshelves, and I was like, I should read it. But it's huge, it's 900 pages. And my first thought about this book, I said, it's two authors that are very wordy. They tend to add a lot of extra word to their books, and they're different kinds of word, and in this book they wrote this book and then they both wrote their extra words, because this book was very slow. It was a good book. Dare I say great book at some moments, but it was very wordy, and I was not into reading a wordy book. And I definitely found out after reading this that the dark Narnia subgenre of books, of dark fantasy / horror books, is definitely not my style. I've read this one, and I've also read the Book of Lost Things by John Connolly, which everybody loves, and I dislike them both. And if you wonder what the dark Narnia type of books is, it is stories about children, mostly boys, getting sucked into parallel worlds, which are dark, and they have to do a quest there. So it's portal fantasy, it's portal dark fantasy, actually. And this one, it's about Jack Sawyer. His father passed away, and his mother is slowly dying from cancer, and she has taken him to a small town in New England from LA because she's a movie actress. And of course there is his uncle, his father's partner, who is probably going to kill them because he's evil and greedy and fat. But while in New England, Jack Sawyer is approached by the magical black man of the book in an abandoned theme park, and he's given a quest. He's told that there's a parallel world, the territories, where he can go to, and there is something there, the Talisman, that can heal his mother. So young Jack Sawyer has to embark on a quest into this magical world, the territories, to save both worlds and his mother. And for a book that takes part in another medieval fantasy kingdom that is parallel to our world, most of the plot happens in our world. So there was a surprise. So yes, this book definitely takes its time getting to the point. It took 100 pages to go into the quest, and that was annoying because you know where it's going, but you have to read through all the words. Yes, I'll say all the words again and again. Don't get me wrong, they're great words. Both authors are great writers, and they have very different styles. Stephen King is very oral in his writing. It's like a folk tale being told to you. And Peter Straub is more literary, more into nuisance and having a more impersonal writing style that works quite well. And this book blends their respective writing styles very good. It's like they blend together. You can see both styles in this book, but it's not like they're stitched together. It's like they blend together. So that's a very interesting read. And there's high points. I mean, when we get to the wolf part, it really gets interesting. I found wolf very annoying in the beginning, but then we get to the sunny house, and it's like the sunny house is definitely where I didn't want to let this book down. I want to read this book, and I loved every part of it. and it was everything was thrilling, funny, heartbreaking, sentimental, painful. All the emotions were there. You know that you're reading the words of two great authors at that point. And then we get to the other part, the other school. I won't spoil the book. And it's kind of interesting to see the parallel in those parts with Wolf and the other guy, the other character that's very important, and how it all finishes up. And despite having a 12-year-old boy as a main character, this book definitely reads adult. There are gruesome stuff happening. There are some kind of risky stuff happening, but again, we talk about Stephen King. He wrote 12-year-olds having a gangbang at some point, so it's definitely safer than that. But yeah, it definitely reads older teen, like most Stephen King books. At the end of it, I really felt like I've read an epic tale. I think that both authors were trying to make their tribute to great fantasy epics like The Lord of the Rings, and I have to say that this book feels like you read Lord of the Rings or an epic like that. However, the world building is enough to feel a very slim fairy tale of sorts, with something, me being a fantasy fan too, feels very odd. The world building is definitely there, but it's not too nuisance, and we never spend enough time seeing the territories, the other world, which is the same to me, because I was promised a closet fantasy, and all I got was a couple brief openings of this closet. So a lot of the fantasy elements stayed in the closet, which I did not like. The characters, they were very colorful, they were kind of cartoony, but they were cartoony in a good way. They felt iconic. They felt like fantasy characters. Fantasy characters feel larger than life a lot of the time, and most of the characters in this book feel larger than life, which is a nice change of pace from the more ordinary characters those two guys mostly write. And I think it was a bucket list book, and I believe they both enjoy writing it. And at some points I definitely enjoyed reading it. It's an interesting book. I thought I had the sequel, Black House, but I did not. And I'm not in a hurry to get it, to be honest. At the end of it, I knew I've read something great. But throughout it was kind of a grueling read, to be honest. And there were places I was like, if I had more reading time or more reading drive at that point, I may have enjoyed it more, but sometimes it felt like a chore, which is not something you should feel when reading a book. I guess people who like reading chunky books, wordy books, will enjoy it. I did not, but that's a me thing, not a problem with the book. Despite the things I did not like about it, I felt that this book is definitely worth a read. All I know is that I'm reading shorter books. Yeah, that's my review for Talisman. And now let's talk about why I'm not reading that much. And it has nothing to do with the Talisman. I'm not burnt out from reading it. Actually, I took breaks in between to read other books, but what I did this year is that I decided to read books that I want to unhaul. Books I thought I would like to unhaul. And yeah, it didn't work out. I got exhausted at some point. I was planning to read. I actually finished an 8-book series, and 2 or 3 of these books I've read in between this one, and I have to do a review for it, but I did not enjoy it. Really, it was a crime thriller, and I did not enjoy it at all. I mean, then I read The Broken Sword by Paul Anderson, which was excellent, and I had a fair review for it. And now I'm reading another crime book I'm sure I will unhaul. and I'm not feeling it. That's it. So yeah, I'm trying to force myself to read. I was planning to read a book to finish another series. That's a bit of a chunker, but I don't know where I'll finish it. I want to do a video for the entire for this entire series, I guess. But yeah, this will wait. And yeah, life is getting too busy at the moment. I'm doing other stuff except for reading. Work is a bit too much. So yeah, that's why I have not been making too many videos and not reading too many books. And honestly, I don't know where I'm editing this video, because I'm filming videos, I'm not editing them. I don't have the time to. So yeah, definitely will be on track after, I don't know, definitely at some point I'll get back to it, and this channel will get on track and having a couple videos a week, I guess. So yeah, that was my review for the Talisman. And if you read it, comment below if you agree with me or not, and I'll see you soon. Thank you for watching.